Oh, hello, my baby gorillas. And let me just check that I've got this up and running. Again, not listed even in my own feeds, my own channel. Oh, I don't know how anybody else is going to see it. Oh, there we go. Are we on? Are we on? Let's just check. Oh, hello, my baby gorilla. And we're on, and we're off at the races. Right, let's see, let's pop the chat, see what you guys are saying. And how did I get it so wrong? How did I make the mistake of thinking that Boris was going to retain this seat with the great people of North Shropshire, a Leave seat, put in the most Remain party, the most globalist shill party, back into power in North Shropshire? I mean, I just don't understand it at all. Why would you vote to leave the EU? Why would you vote to leave the EU, then vote for the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats? It just doesn't make any sense. Politically, doesn't make any sense. So let's have a wee look at the BBC. So I said last night that the Conservatives were going to retain the seat because it had been retained for 200 years. Didn't see the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats getting it, but they were quite buoyant. I didn't know why, and obviously Labour were second prior to, or at the last general election, and they lost 12% in the seat. So whether or not there was some sort of pact or coalition there, I don't know. But it's strange because the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats came from third place to win that seat. Labour went down 12 points. And the Tory vote didn't turn up. Only, I think, 33 or 35% turnout. So here's the British Bias Broadcasting Corporation, and let's see the rubbish that these people are talking. Shame we're paying for it.
North Shropshire is a large rural constituency right in the northwest of our region, lying on the Welsh borders. In fact, in terms of physical size, at 93,521 hectares, it's the third largest in the region, and spread across it are around 81,000 voters. The seat has existed in some form since the 1830s, and for what's now nearly 200 years has always had a Conservative MP. The by-election is happening because the previous MP, Owen Paterson, resigned after he was found to have breached parliamentary rules on paid lobbying.
Now, Boris could have stopped all this. Owen Paterson would have still have been an MP had Boris not tried to gerrymander the rules and not allow him to be suspended. I mean, really?
That I did the right thing. If I came across...
I think this was a bit of corporatism as well. We've got a corporatist rather than a capitalist parliament.
...the information which triggered these actions. Tomorrow, I wouldn't hesitate in doing it again.
There are 5 small towns: Wem, Whitchurch, Oswestry, Ellesmere and Market Drayton. Oswestry, the home of World War I poet Wilfred Owen, is the largest. Farming is hugely important here, as is access to local services. Public transport can be patchy. The population is ageing, with almost a quarter of people here aged over 65, higher than both the regional and national average.
Not enough sex.
The election is happening on
Not enough relationships and sex.
Thursday, the 16th of December, and the counting is happening overnight, so we should know the winner by Friday the 17th, just in time for Christmas.
Great. Well, we know the winner. So on the 16th yesterday. Former Minister Mr. Patterson manifesto. No, they don't want any of that. You've seen all that. Whereas the results. Yeah. So Bojo has got to make changes from the British Bias Corporation as well. Boris Johnson urged to make changes after North Shropshire by-election defeat. Boris bubble. Senior Tories have urged Boris to make changes following huge by-election defeat for the Conservatives. Ex-leader Ian Duncan Smith at number 10 needed discipline, while another Tory said PM needs to get a bit of a bloody grip. I would suggest he might want to sack his wife for making policy. Mr Johnson said he was disappointed with his party performance, and I mean to sack Dominic Cummings, who I don't know why Nigel and Dominic Cummings have a wee bit of a needle against each other, because they would make a dynamite combination. But to sack Dominic Cummings, who is a political guru, was just absolutely crazy from my point of view. And to listen to your wife, who sounds like she's further left than Corbyn, to then get policy that's so left wing it doesn't even represent conservatism. Mr Johnson said he was disappointed at his party's performance in North Shropshire vote. It's been conservative for 200 years. Now, by-elections, elections in between the general elections, where different reasons for the by-elections, which I think we'll see one coming up for the woman who's been found guilty of wanting to send sexual... What's her name? Can't remember. It was one of Corbyn's allies. She was wanting to send pictures of naked pictures to her, the woman who she was trying to blackmail's children. Another great addition to our political system. It can vary for the reasons what it is. So usually these are anomalies. Low turnout, and usually sends a message if people are unhappy with the direction that the political class are going, usually because they're following the globalist manifesto rather than actually their party manifesto, or even representing the people. Mr Johnson said he was disappointed with his party's performance in the North Shropshire vote. The illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats, who won the ultra-safe Tory seat on a massively reduced turnout, because people obviously couldn't be bothered turning out to vote, said voters are fed up. Well, let me give you this word of advice to the voters, because it's obviously the voters that are the issue, not even the politicians. Stop voting for them. Vote for a different party. Don't vote for the Lib Lab Con party or the Greens or the SNP or Plaid whoever it is in Wales, Plaid Cymru. Vote for another party. Vote for the Scottish Libertarian Party, the UK Libertarian Party, the Heritage Party, the Social Democratic Party. There's a whole plethora of parties. You're the problem. The voter is the problem, because they keep electing the same doughballs. So you're not going to get a change, and it's meant to be a democracy until the voter wakes up and votes for a different party out with the mainstream. You're just going to get the same political parties. Oh, I've got to vote for the Lib Lab Con party. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's other people on that list. Just vote for the other person. Oh, so nothing changes. That's because you keep voting for the same people. The party's candidate, Helen Morgan, I'm sure she's going to be absolutely revolutionary in the Parliament, overturned a majority of almost 23,000 at the last general election to win by 5,000. That is some turnaround. That's 30,000 in an 81,000 constituency. And that's a huge turnaround. So people, and the first time in 200 years that this is lost to the Tories. Boris is in big trouble. He's not paying attention. The great people at the Durant. Let's have a wee listen to some of the things that were said at the Durant. But Boris, these guys are brilliant.
Well, can I just say, I mean, I don't personally think that was Boris's intention, because, as I said, I don't think he's got that kind of personality, that sort of the kind of personality that would do something like that. I mean, I think he's too chaotic and disorganized to do that. But as I always often say in these situations, put aside the intention and look at the effect. The effect is exactly what you said. So ultimately, what Boris's motivations were don't in the end matter very much. I mean, they might matter to a student of psychology or to a historian who wants to, understand the the story of this government. But if you're looking at the overall results, it is exactly what you've described.
Yeah. From Greek government should support their telecom equipment.
One which, as I said, a tough, strong, clever leader in Corbyn's position would have grasped and would have dealt with immediately, but he never did. One of the problems with Corbyn, and this is, again, I'm going to say this about him, by all accounts, he's a shy and rather diffident person. He always likes to avoid fights, and of course, don't underestimate the effect of that. He has enormous traction in many places in Britain.
Yeah, why can't Farage just gather UKIP, Brexit Party, all of these forces together and just put them under the umbrella?
Well, he might do. I mean, it's quite plausible that he will.
I mean, I understand they have their differences, but
it's quite plausible that he will, and it's quite plausible. And I think the other thing to say about Farage is that whatever movement he puts together is one which can win in both Labour and Conservative areas.
Yeah. So, quickly move on to have a wee look at this. I'm going to get this. The hell, the village of the damned there, isn't it? I think that's that spice. There's Evil Revenge the Rebel, the Turdo getting assaulted by, Rebel News getting assaulted by Turdo's goons.
Ezra, they smashed my face into a wooden wall.
am I under arrest?
Get off of me! Guys, relax!
You can't touch me if I'm not under arrest.
So, Active Patriot, me and Nobby started this because information given to us suggested they are bringing guns and boats during the night. Scary days ahead. Oh, that's good. Thanks very much, Boris. No wonder you get beaten last night. Last night, 2 illegal immigrants armed with a gun were arrested by armed police at Rochdale bus station. Oh, that's good. Oh, well. So this is what basically the Durant was asking. And I got it wrong last night. So I said that the Reform UK would get over 7%, 7 to 10%, and that Reclaim might get about 3%. I was the UKIP, which we'll go on to have a wee look at. Maximilian, can't remember Maximilian's full name. So let's have a wee listen to what Maximilian said last night.
The historical way this election has gone. Now, remember,
so that was 62%. So the swing last night must have been massive to get a 23,000 majority loss, because obviously the reduce in the number of people that actually went and voted yesterday to a 5,000 majority for the Liberal Democrats, who came in third, and the Labour Party were down 12,000 votes.
There's a difference.
12, sorry, not 12,000 votes, 12%
between a general election and a by-election.
Thank you for that. Thanks for letting us know.
Turnout is normally much lower for a by-election,
which it was last night.
But and this is where the but comes in. North Shropshire by-election odds, the Conservatives tempt to at odds against. Now this is from a betting website, okay? Now it's not polling, but it's betting. But you can see...
So I just want to take you back as well. This is quite interesting for... So, forget him talking. So, the Conservative Party's got 30... But we will see. So, if UK reform... So, UKIP last night got 1%. But, as we can see here, the UKIP was up to 17% at some point in the borough. So, even me thinking that whether it be UKIP, Reclaim, or one of these parties would actually progress to get something close to 7% or even 10%, and that would be spread over. That certainly didn't happen. But if you add Reclaim, UKIP, and the Heritage Party, which are pretty much the same, there isn't much. David Curtin was in the UKIP, so David Curtin and the Heritage Party was in UKIP, and obviously Nigel was in UKIP as well, and Reclaim and Reform seem to be very close. So that's five, nearly 6% there, all of whom are saying pretty much the same thing with slight variations. But I mean, that's 5%, which is or nearly 6%, which is a start, but it's certainly nowhere near as large as the 9,000 votes going into third place, nearly beating Labour. So I mean, we're just 2% off beating Labour, up 12%. So really, the continuity of these parties are not continuous, but at least UK Reform got something on the board, but that was not huge. And the fact that the Conservative Party or people, or the not Conservative Party, but the Conservative voters in the constituency switched to the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats, who are an arch Remain party, really bad policies in a constituency that is predominantly Leave, and didn't vote for UKIP, Heritage, or any one of these four parties. It's just staggering to me. Why would you vote for the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats? Maybe some of them are Labour voters, maybe some of them were already existing Liberals, but these are... It doesn't make sense voting for Leave to leave the EU, to retain immigration controls, and voting for the Liberal Democrats. That is the antithesis of what you're actually wanting politically, and why these Conservative parties would have stayed at home rather than come out and voted in a positive way for UKIP or the Heritage Party or UK Reform Party is beyond me. So that's where I got it wrong. The fact, although they were quite buoyant, the fact of the Liberal Party, or the liberal, undemocratic Democrats, coming from third place to beat Labour. Where is it? Let me see. To beat Labour. Is that not there? Just speak amongst yourselves. North Shropshire by-election results. So here we go. So there was a number of parties. So Helen Morgan from the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats got 17,000 votes. But the turnout, as you can see down here, was 38,000, which is 46%. So that's actually higher than I thought. I thought it was actually less than that. So it's relatively high. So the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats came in and won by 5,000 votes. Now, there's a lot of stairways on that. That's about nearly a third probably down on a general election. So this could quite easily switch back to Conservatives at the next general election if Boris potentially isn't there. Then we've got a collapse in the Labour, the vote. That's down 12% to 9.68%. So it's, everything that is indicated from the actual polls is that Labour is going in the wrong direction. Then we've got the Communist Green Party. So they came in fourth. And then we've got Reform, who at 3.75, just behind them. Now, I said that Conservatives would win, Labour would be second. I didn't see Helen Morgan or the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats coming from third to first. So that's a big change. I don't know why that you would be voting for Leave and then voting for a globalist shell party like the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats. So Kirsty got 1,400 votes from a standing start. So there was obviously nobody from Reform has ever stood in that constituency, and you've got to build it from the ground up. They've now got one councillor there as well. UKIP, again, there's another 378 votes, so that would be a combination of UKIP and Reform would have put them in fourth place. There's another 375 for Reclaim. Again, added together, you're starting to get to overtake the Labour Party as well as Reclaim. So Reform, Reclaim and the Heritage Party would have probably got them into somewhere closing on overtaking the Labour Party. So there really has to be some serious words about joining these parties together, because there are multiple parties actually doing the same thing. And it'll be pointless. It's absolutely pointless. And they should give each of them are competent in their own right. So they should give them good jobs within the party and work together. It is completely pointless having these four parties all the same. The Monster Raven Looney Party got 118, which is good for them. Independent, 0.25. Heritage Party. So the Independent get more than the Heritage Party. Rejoin the EU is absolutely got no traction whatsoever. 58 votes. FA, I don't know what FA is. Freedom Alliance, 57 votes. So that's the Freedom Alliance. The Party, and I believe that the Party has been invited to Boris's party, Christmas party, at the number 10. So we've got the Party and the Tory Party, or the Party at the Tory Party. And the Yaldi Kenwood ND, not sure what ND is, 3 votes. So that really wraps up the vagaries of this election. In a very random election, seeing the illiberal Liberals getting into first place ahead of the Conservatives, but a massive defeat for the Conservative Party. Now, how's this going to affect Bojo? Let's see, I don't know if I've actually got this down here. So we've got France to close 7 more mosques, associations by end of 2021. And yeah, we should be thinking about closing down the mosques in Scotland as well. French stopped 11 illegal migrants from crossing the Channel yesterday, and roughly 600 arrived. They're doing a great job over there. So 14th of August 21, Lahore, Pakistan. On the eve of Independence Day, around 400 Muslim boys molested and raped a TikTok Muslim girl, Ashi Akram, for 3 hours on the pretext of taking selfies with her. Just check the boy in the green, how he removed her innerwear and threw it into the crowd. Yeah, welcome to Open Border Britain. So there's laugh at the devil, he cannot abide to be mocked. Ryanair has been brutal. Oh, let me just... That's obviously stopped. So, sorry, talk amongst yourselves. That's it. Back on. So, Ryanair has brutally trolled by Tories with memes over a week. Oh, there's the nice invader carried in by the RNLI. That was kind of him. A newly elected Tory accused of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy in 2008 is to go on trial next year. Imran Ahmed Khan, who represents Wakefield in West Yorkshire, faces a single count of sexual assault against a teenager in Watfordshire. Obviously innocent until proven guilty. Never forget Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer voted to take away your freedoms and your civil liberties. They're the two guys there, idiots. Early 2021 saw the birth of the Reform UK. We now end it as one of only 5 parties confirmed on the British political landscape, having come third in Bexley. We are on 7% in the polls and our membership is increasing. Thank you to all you who supported us. Now on to 2022. So the Scottish Libertarian Party. So Bozo loses North Shropshire. Unfortunately, I believe he's so compromised by the cathedral that it won't make a dent. We can but hope. The French have banned British citizens for entering their country due to COVID concerns. There's a simple workaround. Get yourself a dinghy and cross the channel. You'll get in, no questions asked. Enjoy. I believe Dan Grimes has joined GB News as well. He's a good commentator. There's nothing Frankie Boyle won't do to keep himself on the telly. Seems he's taken over the SNP's court jester job. Let's see what
get so many doctors to go along with this. How do you get so many doctors to not speak out against the lack of pre-hospitalization care, the lack of early treatment?
We think there's about 500 doctors who knows what's going on in the United States. Right?
500.
500. We got 1 million doctors in the United States. We got 500,000 nurse practitioners and physician assistants. I can tell you the nurses are more awake than the doctors.
Why is that?
The doctors appear to be, like many of our leaders. By the way, all the leaders of the major churches, every single one of them, the major religious branches are under the spell. Every major global international leader is under the spell. We're in what's called a mass formation psychosis. This is very important. I give credit to Dr. Matthias Desmet in the University of Ghent in Belgium, and recently Dr. Mark McDonald, psychiatrist from LA. Mark McDonald's got a new book out, The United States of Fear, describing how the mass psychosis developed. What your listeners need to know is a mass psychosis is when there is a groupthink that develops that's so strong that it leads to something horrific. And the examples are these mass suicides that occur in these religious cults. The example is Nazi Germany, when people walk into gas chambers and were gassed. These horrific things. And 4 elements here is very important, Joe. First, there must be a period of prolonged isolation. Lockdowns. Number 2, there must be a withdrawal of things taken away from people that they used to enjoy. That's happened. Number 3, there must be constant, incessant, free-floating anxiety. All this news cycle, all the deaths and the hospitalizations, more variant mutant strains, everything, people becoming scared over and over again. And the last thing, number 4, the capper. The capper is there must be a single solution offered by an entity in authority. And in this case is clear. Worldwide, the solution was vaccination. Everybody must take the vaccination. It's not a U.S. program. It's not a European. It's everywhere. And you know what, Joe? It doesn't matter what vaccine it is. It could be China-Vac, Coronavac. It could be Novavax. It could be Pfizer, Moderna, J&J. It's interesting that it doesn't even matter what vaccine it is. It's just take a vaccine, take any vaccine. And so what mass psychosis says is, number 4, the solution, there's no limit to the absurdity.
Hello again.
Hello there.
At last, it seems that people are waking up to the fact that the present government of this country are a bunch of spivs, chancers and crooks.
Yeah, I think that's quite enough of that, but that's correct. That's great. He's a good guy. I've subscribed to this. What's this fella's name? I can't remember his name. I've subscribed to him anyway. It's good. It's good that Bozo got a bloody nose in North Shropshire. Unfortunately, neither unfortunately, neither Liberal nor Democrats are every bit as integral to the cathedral as the con-socialists. They could continue their environmental nonsense and fail to curb. They'd even increase public spending. Yeah, want to reduce public spending. There's David Curtin. Here's the May for Cam pumping the idea of the Black Pound Day. Imagine an outrage if there was a White Pound Day or an Aryan Pound Day. Say no to race-based shopping. This is from David Curtin from the Heritage Party. Calvin, sorry to see the mayor of Camden supporting racial segregation following the COVID measures over the past 21 months. We should be supporting local businesses, British businesses. Shopping based on race, skin colour is abhorrent, hateful idea and should have no place in democracy. Probably a socialist. I bet she's in the Labour Party. Racist Labour. Anti-white racist Labour.
As part of our response to tackling inequality and supporting small businesses, Camden is supporting Black Pound Day. It's the largest directory of black-owned businesses in the UK, and it helps to showcase the diversity and the viability of black-owned businesses. To support them, on the first Saturday of every month, try to shop in a black-owned business, take a picture of your purchases or the receipt, and share on social media with the hashtag Black Pound Day.
This is the most racist thing I've seen. Most racist thing I've seen. I bet she's a Labour councillor. Let's see. Sabrina Francis. Just absolute out-and-out black racism.
As part of our response to tackling inequality and supporting small businesses, Camden is supporting Black Pound Day. It's the largest directory of black-owned businesses in the UK, and it helps to showcase the diversity and the viability of black-owned businesses. To support them, on the first Saturday of every month, try to shop in a black-owned business, take a picture of your purchases or the receipt, and share on social media with the hashtag Black Pound Day. As part of our response to tackling inequality and supporting small businesses, Camden is supporting Black Pound Day. It's the largest directory of black-owned businesses in the UK, and it helps to...
Sabrina Francis is a Labour councillor from Bloomsbury, currently serving her second term. She has lived in Camden with her mum and sister for her whole life and attended Brecknock Primary School and Camden School for Girls, a true Camdener, first elected in 2014. She's an out-and-out black racist for London, the London ward, and an anti-white racist. Well, anti-everybody else is not black. This is just a total grift. Black racism alive and well under the Labour Party in London. And it has to be said, both I think David Curtin and Calvin Robinson are both of mixed ethnicity as well, so they're probably in a much better position to discuss or to identify this correctly as they both have as black racism. And it should be noted that not all black people are racist, and both of them have called this out as well, which I think the majority of people would actually see through the fact that the Labour Party are a anti-white racist party now, with I think the homosexual and Bilderberger and Keir Starmer in charge as well. So let's see what the boys are saying.
As he has shown, I mean, one of the reasons, people consistently forget this, one of the reasons why Boris won that election in 2019 was that Farage backed him. I mean, he pulled away Brexit Party candidates from Conservative seats. And that basically signalled to many people that he was backing Boris.
Yeah, good point. Kinky says, was Boris's vengeance for Corbyn's Brexit flip-flop or just a massive oligarchic pushback on socialists? Love you guys.
Well, there were many things acceptable in Davos. He's the sort of person who would get an invitation, libertarian view in.
We have to talk about the possible replacements for Boris because it doesn't look good.
No.
One of the reasons I'm very concerned about this is because, in my opinion, I'm not saying that the UK is going to go back into the EU, but the UK is in danger of backsliding to some sort of arrangement with the EU, because the people who are in position to replace Boris are not good. Not good at all. And they're very pro-globalist, pro-EU. So who do we have in the lineup?
Well, at the moment, the person who's been talked up is Liz Truss, who's our incredibly incompetent foreign secretary. Now, can I just say a few things about this? Because, of course, in previous programs, we've touched on this in our video. We've talked about how the great battle that was going on within the Conservative Party was between Rishi Sunak, the representative of great global capital. He's connected to, really billionaire wealth. I mean, that's what he represents.
Yeah, he's a globalist shill. He's a globalist shill in there.
And Kwasi Kwarteng, who doesn't have that kind of financial background or financial wealth behind him.
I don't think Kwasi Kwarteng is, you keep saying this guy, and I don't think he's a big hitter politically. I think he's competent, don't get me wrong. I think he's not the worst, but he's not the one that I think that's going to get the nod ahead. I think there are other people who are more competent within the higher echelons. They might not be within the cabinet, but you could see somebody out with the cabinet or out with the ministerial offices actually run.
But who seems to be much more interested in the internal industrial groups and people in Britain. And by the way, I have to quickly declare an interest here. I know Kwasi personally.
Yeah, because I think that might be colouring your judgment, because me knowing the inner macerations of the Conservative Party, I don't think Kwasi's. I think Kwasi's competent, but I think you might have an axe to grind, because I don't think that's objective. I don't think he is going to be the person that's going to challenge pissy wissy Sunak.
So when I talk about Kwasi Kwarteng, he's somebody whom I do personally know. I mean, he's not somebody I speak to every day.
Yeah, but he's not a great politician. He's all right, don't get me wrong. He's not incompetent, but he's not, I don't think, the leader.
And I haven't spoken to him since he joined the cabinet, by the way. And we don't share confidences, but having met him several times, I obviously formed a view of his personality and of his interests. So there was this duel between Kwarteng on the one hand, who, if you like, represents domestic British capital. I seem to have lost my.
I know how you feel. Like that happens to me all the time.
Picture it seems to go on all the time.
Hit your cam. There you go.
Here we go. I'm back. I think I'm back. Okay.
Yeah.
So Kwarteng is somebody, as I say, who represents domestic British industries, businesses, people of that kind.
Does he? Doesn't strike me as that type. Sounds like another middle class, pumped out the private schools, not really connected with the little people, to be honest. And I don't think we want another. I think he's another London-based. I don't think we want another London-based leader.
That's his interest against Sunak, who is global financial wealth. And that's.
I'd agree with you in that.
Been the major contest.
That's not the major contest. That is, Alexander. As much as I love the Durant, that is not the contest. Now I'll put money on it right now. Although I was wrong last night. Didn't see that one coming.
Within the party. Now, what's happened is that the two of them have cancelled each other out, and we see somebody coming through the middle, who is Liz Truss, who I consider somebody who tries to play Thatcher's tunes without having any of Thatcher's skills.
Gravitas, political gravitas, I agree.
And so she's appeared in a tank.
But they all do that. Boris was meant to be right wing, and he's further left than Corbyn just now.
In Estonia, which frankly I consider ridiculous. She's her foreign policy positions are neocon on steroids, and of course she's taken a ultra-libertarian view on British issues, which I don't think anybody takes especially seriously, and which I would add contradicts her stance during the Brexit referendum when she actually voted Remain, a fact she doesn't want people very much to know about.
Don't vote trust either. Let's sack her. What are you guys saying? Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Teresa, why is your comments getting redacted? I was every pound shop in England looking for a pounding. Pounding. Farage is a fraud. Well, I mean, I've heard a lot of things about Farage being a fraud as well, but how can he be? I'm not sure if he can be a fraud and spend that length of time fighting against the EU and the globalists. I'm not sure. It depends on what you mean by fraud, but give me more information, budgie bugger burger. But yeah, I mean, but I'm going to leave that there. That's big trouble for Boris Johnson, live from the guys. So doing a great job as usual. Let's see if there's anything down here. Oh, Predator 24 who attacked 6 women in 12 days rampage, including 4 in 1 day, less than a month after he was released from prison. Sentenced for sexual offences is jail for life. Oh, well, that's good, aye. Let's see Tim Castius.
Don't matter when I'm fighting.
I don't know what this is in relation to.
Interviews with people on the ground to talk about what they've been through, and you have the nerve to come up to me and tell me my experiences don't matter when I'm fighting the fight.
Stop screaming, bitch. Stop screaming, first of all. Talk to me like I'm because I'm not that guy.
Yeah, you are. You are. You actually...
Good dad gang.
You really are, dude. Yeah. You are that guy.
I'm talking about I'm not that guy to fucking scream at, bitch. You want to get fucked up? Huh?
All right.
What the fuck screaming at, bitch?
Let's calm down.
You gotta cut it, man.
You think you can...
I'm not that guy. You don't disrespect me, bitch.
What did you do to me? Did you disrespect me?
Nah, you start raising your voice to me like I'm some sucker.
Did you laugh at me?
Bitch. Yeah, laugh.
Did you
I don't know. I actually don't know the context to any of that, so I'm not quite sure what was going on there. Fury as Fury is £650 million contract approved as Nicola Sturgeon. Let's see this. Who's this? Is this our pal Paul Hutchins? No, it's John Ferguson. Building tycoon Sandy Adams, Springfield. Anger as £650 million contract for SNP donor approved after Nicola Sturgeon meeting she failed to declare. Business tycoon and I'm going to do a podcast on why Nicola Sturgeon might be going to jail. Building tycoon Sandy Adams, Springfield Property Limited, gave £100,000 to the Nationalists between 2015-2016 and in December 2019. The firm received permission to construct a 3,000 home in Drysdale Village in Stirlingshire. An SNP donor £650 million planning application was approved after a meeting with Nicola Sturgeon as she failed to declare. Building tycoon Sandy Adams Springfield Property Limited gave £100,000 to Nationalists between 2015 and 2016. Oh my God, that's in the Daily Record. So, I mean, really, honestly... Fear of £6 million loss for SNP's top rate taxpayers. Scotland may lose out on as much as £6 million by raising the top rate of tax, according to the SNP government analysis. Really, they couldn't run a bath, honestly. Absolutely worse than useless. There's a great Unity Use network Drakefield says Wales must brace itself for the storm. Look at that. If that's not the face of an idiot, why are you voting for this idiot? Oh, look, let's vote for an idiot. There you go, there's the face of it there. That's it. Oh, I want to vote for an idiot. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's got a Labour reserve. Yeah, is he an idiot? Yeah, he's an idiot. Yeah, that's the one we want to vote for. Oh, look, it's Labour again. Voting the Black Pound, the racist Camden mayor for Camden. Oh, right, the Black Pound. Oh, going to black businesses. It's extraordinary. Why are you going into businesses just because they're black? That's racist. Upon 2 years ago, many people would have described Boris as a clown who couldn't find his ears with both hands. Those same folk now maintain he's right about COVID. Ah, yes, but he's an expert advisor. But he is expert advisors, all right. About PJW, all known evidence, good news. Everyone, Omnicom is mild. Let's not horrendously damage society like we did the last few times. UK government and media, no, don't say that. It's really absurd. Yes, quite right. Oh, there's Antifa. Antifa. One of BLM protesters filmed allegedly throwing a bomb at Portland Federal House was outed by his Trump-loving grandmother. Read my exclusive report. This is from Andy No, doing some great work. There's Boris just allowing de facto open immigration. Not in the manifesto. There's a whole bunch of people not from all over the place, all economic migrants. There we are. There's the boys from the fetus eaters, the lotus eaters. Brilliant. Let's see this.
Pages of it come out.
So this is Turdo in Canada. Justin Turdo not allowing through his schooling a rape victim, a sexual slave girl from the Yazidi diaspora in northern Iraq, who was raped and passed about by the sex slaves of Islam. Obviously, Prophet Muhammad being a child rapist and a sexual slave trader.
Out astoundingly in defence of sex slavery. Inadvertently, of course, that's being a little bit hyperbolic, but...
they did it on purpose, didn't they?
Oh, it seemed... Well... Passingly, perhaps. So, we've got this article from The Telegraph. School pulls event with former Islamic State sex slave over fears it would foster Islamophobia. That's right. So let's take a deep dive into this. So a Canadian school...
I'm going to leave that there. You should go and look at that. Canadian school condones sex slavery on the Lotus Eaters. Very interesting. I already knew about it, but it's good for if you don't know about this. Like Patrick Christie's comments, usually he was talking about Islam being a race, which I wasn't really keen on him saying, because Islam's not a race and it's the human race. So any race-based commentary is basically based on communism, which I'm going to come on to the origins of the word racist in the next couple of podcasts.
Well, Boris Johnson has been given a massive warning, hasn't he? Last night, news broke that the Liberal Democrats have snatched North Shropshire. The lady who came a distant third at the 2019 general election, Helen Morgan, overturned a 23,000 majority and won a seat that has been in Tory hands for almost 200 years. Here's a little clip, actually, of her acceptance speech.
Boris Johnson, the party is over. Your government, run on lies and bluster, will be held accountable. It will be scrutinised, it will be challenged.
I thought the Liberals voted with the Labour and the Conservatives to reduce our freedoms. How are you going to challenge it?
And it can and will be defeated.
Ironically, it doesn't look like she'd be too good at parties, does it? But anyway, I want to know, if there was a by-election in your seat right now, would you vote Tory? And we're going to run a poll on that throughout the show as well. I think the main issue for Boris Johnson, and indeed the Conservatives...
And the UK Reform Party are now sitting at 7%. Remember I said to you the UK Reform Party were going to win the next election. So we're up to 7%. It's gone from 2 to 3 to 4 to 7, and it's just moving up and up and up. You couldn't, if you were a person who voted Leave and you're still voting for the Lib Lab Con Party, you're basically voting against yourself. All of these parties are globally shill parties, and you should be voting for them. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there anyway. I think we've covered it. I made a mistake, got it wrong, and we could be seeing Boris disappearing from the field of play any day now. It's a big club and we ain't in it. That's it, Theresa. But we've got to keep fighting and get out there and start actually protesting and getting on with things. I'm going to see you at 8 o'clock, so you've only got an hour to wait for me and I'm back on. See the amount of fun I give you guys? Unbelievable. 8 o'clock, get me back here. Don't even know how to get out here now. I think it was a novel.